Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Good evening, boys and girls, scholars and laymen. Welcome to another wonderful, infotaining, edutaining edition of The Artist Thinks Provocateur. I'm your host for this empowerment segment, Brother Ron. Coming to you on Father's Day 2019 from Memphis, Tennessee. With some thoughts, I've been meditating on some things that happened in the past week. Feel free to share this information because knowledge is the currency of the universe. And I want to talk to you all about the situation that happened in Memphis on Wednesday night in the community of Fraser up in the North Memphis community of Fraser. We had life that was snuffed out by U.S. Marshals, that is Brandon Weber, alleged suspect in a carjacking assault down in Hernando, Mississippi. From my understanding, he was gunned down on his mama's property up in Fraser off of Overton Crossing on the street of Durham up in North Memphis, Fraser community. It made a lot of national news because of the reaction. Allegedly, this brother was shot from various reports, anywhere from 5 to 20 times by the U.S. Marshals coming out of Mississippi. I guess they call them the Gulf Coast Regional U.S. Marshals out of Mississippi came up into Memphis to apprehend a suspect. He allegedly participated in some type of carjacking up in down in Hernando, Mississippi on June 3rd of this month of 2019, of June 2019. The alleged victim, posted an ad in Facebook Marketplace to try to sell his Infinity. And I guess allegedly Brandon Weber made contact with the alleged victim via Facebook. They connected, allegedly went for a test drive down Hernando in Infinity. And once the test driving was done, it is alleged that Brandon Weber shot the victim, the gentleman, 5 times. Luckily, the gentleman survived the incident. He survived, and it is expected to make a full recovery. And from my understanding, the authorities down there was able to identify Brandon Weber, through these alleged victim identifying him. I believe they also figure out his real Facebook profile. I believe he created a fake profile on Facebook to contact the victim originally. But I don't really know because there's so many contradicting stories out there, so many different narratives competing for one's attention. But what I do know is that this brother somehow found himself at the wrong end of the guns of the U.S. Marshals out of Mississippi, and his life is lost. Allegedly, he was a young man, a father of 3 or 4. I don't know how many children now, because my understanding from the news, there was a young lady who just had a daughter for him several weeks ago. And then I looked at my Facebook Live within the 24 hours of him getting killed. His alleged other baby mama, I don't know, witnessed the him getting killed, and she went into labor. So that's another story. I don't know. I'm kind of what is going on, right? And then this alleged baby mom on her Facebook live stream said that not only was he shot multiple times, but that his neck was broken. So this is why I really have been apprehensive about talking about this story, putting out my own perspective on this, because it's a lot of confusion going on. And then to add on top of that, you had a situation where the Fraser community was outraged by the killing of this young man. From my understanding, he was on the ground dead for several hours before they claimed the body and took it to the proper place. That outraged residents even more. So they allegedly attacked police and property. Allegedly 20 cars was damaged. You know, they smashed up some patrol cars. My understanding, they said almost 30 police officers were injured, or 6 were seriously wounded and took it to the hospital. See, I don't really know. See, there's a lot of confusion, and you got people thinking from outside of Memphis that all of Memphis is under martial law, and really there was just a neighborhood in North Memphis. But you look at the national news, you like Memphis was burning to the ground, like it was like a Memphis massacre going on, which was not the case. It was a little bit of civil unrest that got calmed down, and really, to the credit of the Memphis police, I applaud them for practicing restraint against the citizens. They were upset and frustrated. The citizens really, they destroyed a lot of property per se. Somehow allegedly they tore down a concrete wall, but the thing about it was they were not destroying people's lives. They did not kill anybody. A young man lay dead at the hands of the authorities. For whatever reason, didn't practice any restraint when they shot him from 5 to 20 times. But that's very fascinating. But the citizens were outraged. I mean, black people. Dr. King said that a riot is the language of the unheard. And it's really absurd and really interesting, though, that in this age of social media, when we are so heavily connected, that we got all these social media platforms, we can live stream, that people feel like they're still not being heard in terms of their grievances. So it's ties to a greater point. And also with the narrative on the young man, Brandon Weber, this young father, as I think about him this Father's Day, I think about the children growing up without a father. This young man has been silenced in life. Yes, the community is in mourning, but there are questions that need to be answered. For example, was it necessary for him to get killed? Because there's other stories that said that he allegedly rammed the police officers' cars or U.S. Marshal cars with the car that he allegedly stolen from the alleged victim down in Mississippi. Then he got out guns of glory, like he's Queen Latifah from Set It Off. He allegedly had a rifle in his hand getting out the car, and they shot him multiple times. Then I heard stories that he was handcuffed already, and they shot him then. So I don't really know what to believe, but I do know that a young man has lost his life, and a community looking for answers. I know people are criticizing certain political and religious leaders for being out there on the scene at ground zero. Tammy Sawyer, she's the Shelby County Commissioner. Her district includes that neighborhood in Fraser. And also she's a 2019 Memphis mayoral candidate. She was viewed as the people's choice at the People's Convention, which I attended, and also I'll put out some commentary on that as well. But she made some statements, and she came under fire for those statements. But I believe that with Tammy Sawyer, she's very much a polarizing figure in Memphis politics and the Memphis scene today. There's neither a good or bad thing. Right now she's relevant to the conversation. But people thought that she jumped too early to conclusions in her assessment of the situation. Other folks feel like she was doing her job as the elected Shelby County Commissioner of this district to meet the constituents where they at and to comfort those constituents. So the thing about it is she can't win for losing. She's trying to go against this incumbent white mayor, Jim Strickland, who's trying to run and you also got a old school pioneering politician by the name of Dr. W.W. Harrington, who was the first black elected mayor of Memphis, served for close to 5 full terms. He retired abruptly in his 5th term to run for Congress against U.S. Representative Steve Cohen, and he ended up losing, but he's coming back now to run for mayor once again. So she can't win for losing, but it got a lot of good coverage for her nationally. She appeared on Anderson Cooper's CNN show. She also was quoted in the New York Times. So she is media savvy. For whatever you may say or you may like or dislike about Tammy, she is media savvy. She know how to grab the moment and make it her own. But she got criticized because people felt like she was just clout chasing. And in the day and age, clout chasing. Nobody's above criticism in my book. And but here's the thing. Was it really necessary to kill the young man? You think about, as we approach the anniversary of the Charleston shootings down at Mother Emanuel Church down in Charleston, where 9 black people lost their lives during church service at the hands of a young white man named Dylan Roof, who made an escape and was captured peacefully and also took into Burger King for a Whopper before he went to jail. And also you see videos online where you see, instances where white people are attacking police, doing traffic stops, some punching police, shooting at police, stealing patrol cars, going on high-speed chases. Somehow they end up being captured alive and having their day in court. Why wasn't the same type of consideration given to this young brother? Now, the way he's portrayed is very interesting. He got the media, the news media, whatever, mainstream media interpretation of who he was, his perception. Then you got people on social media that's countering that narrative. It's hard to tell with this guy, Brandon Weber, according to your camp or perspective. He was either done wrong like Amadou Diallo, the brother who got shot at 41 times by NYPD back on February 4th, 1999. That was 20 years ago. They killed Amadou Diallo up in New York in the Bronx. Shot at 41 times by undercover NYPD. They said they thought he was some type of rape suspect that was on the run for about a year, supposedly. So he got shot up, or he's Machine Gun Kelly or Babyface Nelson or Queen Latifah from Set It Off. The way he got the car, guns ablazing, guns of glory, Valhalla, or whatever. And actually, he's a 2017 graduate of Central High School in Memphis. And one of their most infamous students out of Central High School in Memphis is none other than Machine Gun Kelly, public enemy #1. I ain't talking about the rapper, I'm talking about Machine Gun Kelly, bootlegger, gangster, kidnapper, bank robber, Machine Gun Kelly, who actually was captured, ironically, peacefully, September 26, 1933 in Memphis by the FBI and the Memphis Police Department. He allegedly said, "Don't shoot, G, man, don't shoot." Allegedly, the way he said, I don't know if it's true. You can't trust everything you read. It's a lot of mythology around here. So this guy was public enemy #1, right? He kidnapped this oil tycoon, Charles Herschel, held him for a $200,000 ransom back in the 1933, whatever. And they was able to get this guy in peacefully, a guy who was nicknamed Machine Gun because of his proficiency and efficiency with a machine gun, a Thompson submachine gun. So if they was able to bring him in peacefully back in September 1933, how come they couldn't bring this brother in, this Brandon Weber, peacefully on June 12th, 2019? So my thing is this, it's interesting because they're claiming that the gangster disciples are going to plan retaliation against the U.S. Marshals. Now here's the thing, I'm not really clear, because really the U.S. Marshals started this mess in Memphis. I'm not saying the incident started with him allegedly carjacking and shooting a person 5 times in Mississippi June 3rd. But I want to know, did the U.S. Marshals get clearance with the local law authorities? When they crossed into Memphis, into Tennessee, were they on the same page with the Shelby County Sheriff's Department and the Memphis Police Department? All the local law authorities, were they all on the same page? Were they aware that the U.S. Marshals from the Gulf Coast of Mississippi was coming in to apprehend a suspect with outstanding warrants? Or was that after the fact? Because the U.S. Marshals, let's make it clear, the U.S. Marshals were the ones who shot this young man. It wasn't the Memphis Police Department. And like I said, I applaud the Memphis Police Department for practicing restraint in that sensitive time against the citizens. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been like something like Ferguson, but it was not. But the national news have overhyped it to be that way. So we have had several vigils since that time, to honor this young man and the lost life. But, if it is true, if he did, steal a car and shot a man 5 times, that was not cool either. Our life is based upon our choices and our relationships with ourselves and other people. If he did do what they claim he did, that was very irresponsible for that young man to do. From my understanding, this man was an honor student, very active in the community. He was an honor student at high school, graduated from high school for honors, was a college student at one point. I don't know if he dropped out or whatever, but he was attending college at one point. And he had several young babies that he was the father of. So if he did make that choice to rob and nearly kill that victim down there, then man, he had to answer for that. He got to be held accountable because he created that atmosphere that was conducive to him getting killed this past Wednesday. But if that's not the case, who really knows? He could have been killed for a lot of reasons. I don't know. Did he know more than what he should have known? Was that the reason why he was not allowed his day in court? I mean, could he had access to some information that was contrary to what was put out there about him in the media narrative of his life and who he was? Or did he have some information on some other stuff? And he was not allowed to see his day in court for that. And was it something else going on with that meeting down in Hernando with the person with the affinity? Were they in business together? I don't see these questions. I don't know the answers to, and they're not doing a good job of letting us know what's going on. Like I told people, people talking about look at the Central Park 5 miniseries on Netflix, and eventually I will look at that. But I'm saying you don't have to look at that on Netflix. You just go outside your door and you see Central Park 5 in terms of injustice towards black people on a daily basis. Hell, you even go through that if you're a black person. Some of y'all are not even aware of it. Y'all going through that. Think about this with Cuba Gooding Jr. This is another segment with Cuba Gooding Jr. But think about this. Cuba Gooding Jr. played O.J. Simpson, right? In this award-winning, questionable, it's a work of historical fiction as far as I'm concerned. The People versus O.J. He was O.J. and now he's getting the O.J. treatment. They perp walking him when he turned himself in to face these questionable charges of sexual misconduct. He went to the authorities and turned himself in, and they handcuffed him. Just like, I ain't gonna never forget 20-some years ago when OJ, he went to the authorities, and I remember on media, on news, like it was yesterday, he was by his tree in his yard or whatever, handcuffed. And the news announcer said that OJ is not considered a suspect. OJ at this point is not considered a suspect. But yet, as the news anchor or news person is saying those words, he's handcuffed by a tree. So you already planting these seeds against OJ in the media. Or when Newsweek darkened his image, his mugshot on their news magazine cover. They sold a lot of news magazine covers, right? But they darkened his image, making like he was type of a sinister boogeyman type character. See, this is the tricks the media play. It's like with this case with Brandon Weber, we don't really know what went down with that. The authorities came out with their side of the story. The people down Hernando, Mississippi, legal authorities, also people here in Memphis, legal authorities. But the thing about it is, they still not giving us the answers to questions that we are asking as a community. So, man, it's easy to blame Tammy Sawyer or to take her words out of context. But the thing about it is, this happens all the time. And really, the system knows black people well. It's like when people you remember when Kentucky lost that basketball game. It wasn't even a championship basketball game. Kentucky Wildcats. And those privileged white kids rioted and tore up the mall. And people were like, oh, well, they're just kids being kids. Or when a professional sports team wins a championship, a lot of times the people in that city that the team represent, they'll tear up downtown. They'll tear up some buildings and some vehicles. And the police will let them do that, to let off some steam. Because like Dick Gregory go, like what Dick Gregory used to say, where do people go? They want to participate in a celebration. How do they get to express themselves? Where do they go? So, the city knows, hey, it's back off. Got insurance to cover property damage, right? But when black people get upset about a member of their community being gunned down and nobody's being held accountable for being gunned down, then we're looking at it as being animals or savages or people without feelings. We're traumatized. That trauma passed on from generation to generation. So it's not just something happening in a vacuum. This is a historical narrative that's very much a living part of our lives. Black trauma is real. That's why people connected with the Central Park 5 movie so well, because people live those things. Just recently in North Carolina, look this up, an 86-year-old man got an official apology from the Wake County Sheriff's Department for almost being lynched when he was 19 years old. He was almost lynched in 1952 by sheriff deputies. This is a law. They're about to lynch this black man at 19 for allegedly being a robbery suspect, which he wasn't. And thank God he's still here at 86 years young to receive then an apology from a black sheriff now. But it was a white sheriff and white sheriff deputies back in those times. That's 1952. So this man survived a near lynching by law authorities. Then you look at the Central Park Five, how they was railroaded by law authorities, right? Not just the police on the ground, but also the district attorney office. Also the mayor office. Hell, be honest with you, they were railroaded by New York Democrats. From the mayor office, DA office, the governor office. Even Donald Trump, when he wrote that op-ed, was a Democrat. And it's funny how rappers got short memories, because even after Central Park 5, rappers kept on wanting to be like Donald Trump. You can look at all these rappers' rap lyrics. They want to be like Trump. He making cameo appearances on people rap albums, like Memphis Man, his the rap album that came out. There was a good rap album that came out. I think it was back in 98. He had Donald Trump in one of the skits, right? So now these rappers, like, they got amnesia about wanting to be like Trump. Trump is a gangster rapper's wet dream, and that's another thing. But what I'm saying is, normally riots in this country are started by who? Law authorities, the police. Law authorities. The Memphis Massacre of 1866 was started by police. Watts riots started by police. L.A. Rodney King riots started by police. Police brutality, police misconduct. Every riot in this country was started by the police or law authorities. This is not fiction. These are facts, right? So with the Brandon Weber thing, it wasn't the Fraser community that started. It was an invaded army, really. You look at U.S. Marshals, if they did not get the proper consent from the local authorities, then that's disrespect to law enforcement here. If the U.S. Marshals said, we're going to just do a John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, unforgiving type of mindset, we're going to come in to unknown foreign territory and go in there and disrespect the community by doing this to one of the neighbors or constituents of their community, I don't know the answers. What I'm saying is there should be a chain of command and protocol. You know, but the brother, whatever we say, all the commentaries and the criticism and critiques ain't gonna bring this young man back. But it's a bigger picture at hand, because you got things going on in Memphis right now. Memphis is like, look at the movie The Firm, right? Look at The Firm starring Tom Cruise as a lawyer working at this law firm controlled by organized crime. Memphis is an organized crime town. Memphis is an organized crime town. You just can't kill people like Dr. King without help from certain entities within the system. We just lost 2 white philanthropists, well-known white business leaders and philanthropists in Memphis. One was a Trinary, who was the president of the Memphis Chamber of Commerce. He was assassinated coming home from a some type of charity event. This is back in September of 2018. And then on June 8th of this month, you had a guy by the last name of Cofield, another white philanthropist who was assassinated by persons or person unknown at this point, as far as I know. That's not random street crime. That's by design. These guys, anytime you mess with money, and you're going to make some powerful enemies. Anytime you are in a position to decide what money should be allocated, where it should go, who gets loans, who don't get loans, who gets access, you are putting yourself in a very, not only powerful position, but a dangerous position. So you had 2 philanthropists just killed in less than a year of each other. And they want to act like it's this random street crime. Ain't nothing random by crime, period. Crime is organized. It's like a brother was telling me when we was talking about this Brandon Weber thing and some other stuff. And black folks that don't know any better, they'll say, well, how can we stop black on black crime? And then I told the brother, who killing people in China? Who killing people in Italy? There's no such thing as black on black crime. Crime is crime. That's a human problem, but it's a system invention. Crime was invented by the system. Malcolm, I remember seeing a speech that Malcolm did. He talked about the police. He said, normally where the most police at, there's the most crime. The most crime occur where the most police are located because they control the crime. They control the vice. Y'all remember that the show The Wire that came on HBO? You had a place called Amsterdam, where the mayor and the police got together. I believe, I don't know if it was a mayor, but police created a vicinity called Amsterdam where people are allowed to sell and do drugs and, all that stuff. They contain it. They contain the drug abuse or use in a certain part of the neighborhood that they control. And it was being successful. Then all of a sudden the powers that be figure out what they was doing. They shut the whole thing down. People lost their jobs. People got their ranks pulled, their pensions cut in half or whatever. Cause one of my favorite characters on there was Bunny Colvin, the police captain or commander who actually came up with the idea of Amsterdam doing that. But also, but I just give my condolences to the loss of Brandon Weber, to his family. I wonder if he's related to Chris Weber. Cause I believe Chris Weber's father is from Tunica County in Tunica, Mississippi. And I believe the reason why Chris Weber's father left the South and went to Michigan was because one of his best friends got lynched in Tunica. I remember reading a story about that. I don't know, it's been years ago, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but I think that's the reason why he left Mississippi, because one of his friends got lynched. Even Serena and Venus' father down south, he said his friend got lynched down in Louisiana over stealing a chicken. So this is very much real. I tell you about the elder gentleman, the elder who almost got lynched when he was 19 by sheriff deputies. And Memphis got a long history of black men getting killed by law enforcement. Think about in the aftermath of Dr. King's last march, Larry Payne, who was killed by police in the projects in front of eyewitnesses. And there's another thing, the eyewitness testimony varies. Contrary to popular belief, eyewitness testimony or eyewitness statements are not always the most accurate, because you got to deal with the fact, things happening in real time, trauma, confusion, excitement, people get into their emotions, hysteria, all that stuff comes to play. So, I hear different variations where this guy was handcuffed and shot multiple times, where his neck was broken some type of way. They arrested his mama. His mama was in a patrol car. His brother, I don't know what's going on. But they also claiming that the father wanted the gangster disciples to get involved, or growth and development to get involved in retaliation towards the U.S. Marshals. This is what they put out in the media. I don't believe it. I don't believe nothing the media put out. I remember when the Freddie Gray riots happened, right, in Baltimore 4 years ago. They were saying that the Black Guerrilla family was getting involved in trying to do some terrorism against the state. Some of these street gangs were trying to get involved. They always say stuff to scare people. Even when Katrina happened, when first day of the hurricane, first day of the aftermath, when New Orleans was flooded, they talking about people committing cannibalism. You just got people just eating Popeyes 24 hours ago. How you gonna go from eating Popeyes 24 hours ago to committing cannibalism and all this other stuff? They were just printing all this stuff. This before social media. Then Cynthia McKinney, the Honorable Cynthia McKinney, other people talking about how white folks were going around hunting black people as sport. And people said it wasn't true. You had videos around that time showing white folks in hunting groups going coon hunting, right? And it finally came out about the Danziger Bridge, where those black men were killed by law enforcement, once again, police misconduct. So I'm dropping all this stuff for y'all to do your own research on it. But I just want to say about the Brandon Weber, like Dick said, pray at noon for the truth to come out about what happened to that brother. Pray for his family, pray for the city of Memphis, pray for yourselves, meditate. You don't have to necessarily, praying could be meditation, right? Could be meditation. Send out them love vibrations of peace and healing and understanding. So I guess that's all I want to say on the Brandon Weber thing, because I don't know too much of anything about all these circumstances. Either on Father's Day, this is several days after it happened, but I think it's important that I put these out there because I just want people to start thinking for themselves. And you don't have to agree with everything I'm saying anytime in your life. But if you are listening to the words that come out of my mouth, then feel free to explore your mind, to do some research on your own. And I want to thank you all for listening, for supporting the channels, for supporting the ministry. If you like the words from Brother Hurd, please spread the word. Please feel free to support and sustain the movement. This is very crucial right now, as I'm going through some crucial things going on personally and professionally in my life, got to make some crossroad choices very soon. So if you like what we're doing out here, because I mean, people benefit immensely from my understanding for what I'm doing with the We All Be Info movement. Feel free to give. Cash App is R2C2H2. Once again, Cash App is R2C2H2. Also, PayPal or Google Pay. Email is r2c2h2@gmail.com. Once again, that's r2c2h2@gmail.com. You can also buy Art of His Art. Look at my art. Wonderful art. r2c2h2.com. That's r2c2h2.com. Got that 5 for $50. Get 5 prints for $50 deal. Still good. You can wear Art of His Art as well too. Check out the t-shirt on Father's Day. That's the brothers M and Baba Dick too. Got the martyrs, our leaders, all black fathers. Black fathers matters. Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, Dr. King, Dick Gregory, young and old. We lost Martin, Malcolm, and Medgar in their 30s. We had Dick until he was 84. But he knew he was fighting a war, and he lost a lot of comrades in that war. We had family. So think about that. As we think about Brandon Weber, the 3 to 4 kids, how many kids he have, I don't know, because it keep on changing the number. May they find some peace. May they find love and comfort and support of a village. And okay, family, thank you so much once again. In the words of Great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing.